Welcome to the Scio Township Board of Trustees special meeting. We are here for the purpose of interviewing candidates for the position of Operations Director. Clerk Flintoff, please, well, wait a minute, call to order at, what did we say, 2:46? Yep, 2:46. Clerk Flintoff, please call the roll.
Carey,
Here.
Yapel,
Present.
Flintoff, here. Brandt,
Here.
Knoll, Reed, Reiser, absent, but presumably on the way. Also present, Office Coordinator Chrissy Aiken, HR Manager Aurora Northrup, and MML Representative Patsy, and forgive me, Patsy Moore. Thank you, Patsy.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, adoption of the agenda, we will be interviewing two candidates. And I believe there's nothing else to include, or?
I would suggest, do you want to offer a public comment period before and after? I think we should.
Well, that's part of our special meeting rules of order.
Okay. So I would make a motion to adopt the agenda of public comment, the two interviews, and public comment.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, Aurora, would you like to, I guess, get us ready for this?
And then did you want to see if there's public comment after?
Thank you, Board of Trustees. I'm Aurora Northrup, and we are here to interview two candidates for the Operations Director position. We had a total of 30 candidates. We have 5 final candidates. 2 did withdraw. So the special meeting today is, as I said, 2 candidates, and then we have another special meeting on Thursday the 19th with the final candidate.
Great.
Okay. Thank you. Well, now's the time for public comments. For up to 5 minutes on any matter in front of the Board of Trustees. We do not have anyone present. There's a jacket over there, but I don't see anybody. And, oh, that's yours, okay. So Christy, anyone on Zoom?
Rob Pattinson, go ahead, Rob.
Hi, everyone. Rob Pattinson, Scio Township resident. Christy, it looks like the ceiling mics are off. We could not hear Aurora at all. And you guys are coming through very clearly, so your dais mics are on, but it looks like the ceiling mics are off. And then I've got one question that maybe Aurora could clarify. Is this the same group that we had the December 7th deadline on? So it's 3 months and a week since the deadline. Could you maybe explain why it's taken so long to get to the interviews? And I'll let you know if the mics are on.
They are on. They are on, Rob.
All right, Rob, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you very clearly. Thank you.
All right. So the process, of course, does take an extended amount of time in terms of candidates obtaining any additional paperwork that's needed. We had holidays within that time frame along with paid time off, and trying to juggle all the schedules of everyone is sometimes a little bit difficult to get everyone, and of course ensuring quorum. So that was, we find ourselves here now, March. Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Aurora.
Aurora, Joelle wanted me to let you know.
The first person's in the lobby. Yep.
Rob, are you finished with your public comment?
Yes, all done. Thank you.
Thank you. Christie, anyone else?
Thanks, Aurora.
Anyone else, please raise your Zoom hand. No hands raised.
Okay, well. Aurora has gone to, for the first candidate, and that, her name is Christina Laszlo? That is correct. Okay, we'll just wait until she comes back.
Presumably no relation to Victor.
Pop culture reference I'm unaware of.
Victor Laszlo? Rick's Cafe? No?
No,
Casablanca?
no, sorry.
man.
For my time.
Greatest movie ever made.
I know the
been a
movie.
long time
I just
since
don't know
I
the
watched
reference.
Victor Laszlo. The
Okay.
guy with who needed the passes. He and Jeez, come on.
I have to add that to my viewing agenda.
I'm sorry?
I have to add it to the things I need to watch.
Oh, no. Well,
Does it make sense now? Good. I was talking about the email.
oh, I'm sorry. What, you mean,
Yeah, the duo.
oh, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Good.
Thanks.
In reference to Victor Laszlo, you're not going to answer.
Oh, no. If and when we hire her, I'm not answering that. 6
Okay.
months in. He would be rather. And since it's fictional character.
The other conference room was cold. Thankfully, this is warm.
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I had another interview this morning and knew I was going to. Yeah, it's going to be on video a lot today, right?
Oh, it's not planned to go near here, but that's something nice
Yeah.
for the camera. It's more complicated than 10 minutes.
Sure. I understand. I just was trying to clean up the list.
Oh, okay. You got it. So you need to do that every time you get a deal.
I don't know, I haven't been using it, done anything. But I haven't done this.
Thank you.
We can get started if we're ready.
Yeah, we're ready. Yeah, make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take it all.
Okay, all right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Christina Laszlo, of course.
Hi, Christina.
Next to Patsy. Okay. All right, great.
Hi there. I'm Supervisor Jillian Carey. We're just going to introduce ourselves so you know who you're speaking with.
My name's Jessica Flintoft. I'm the clerk.
Hi, I'm Kathleen Brandt. I'm one of 4 trustees on the board.
And I'm Christy Aiken, I'm the office coordinator.
Good afternoon, my name's Ryan Yaple, I'm the township treasurer.
I'm David Reed, and I'm a trustee.
Kathy Knoll, and I'm a trustee.
And we have one more trustee, John Reiser, that I believe he will be attending? Yeah, okay, he may, yeah, okay. So Christina, we're going to start with some questions and go through and then just be as relaxed as possible and yeah, just be welcome. Okay.
I know most of you already. I feel like I've been cyber stalking.
Oh. We're used to it. Okay. So this position reports directly to the Board of Trustees. How do you approach maintaining a productive relationship with the elected officials while ensuring the organization operates effectively day to day?
So overall, I believe communication is, I have to constantly be in communication. In a different position at the city of Dearborn Heights, I reported directly to the mayor, and because it was a strong mayor rule, then we'd also have the city council. So I, a number of times, had to bridge gaps if there was some turmoil or if there was disagreements, and I felt transparency was always the best way to communicate. Different ways of communication, I like all forms of communication, but depending on different things. If there was an employee emergency, obviously a group text right away, an email maybe if it's not something incredibly urgent, but something that the board needs to know before the next meeting. Phone calls if it's a personnel matter that shouldn't be in written form, but I'm working on saying this year, and it seems I'm saying more now that I'm working on it, so I apologize. I believe the severity, the privacy on different ways, or there's different forms of communication for each, but I do believe in communication directly with the board.
Okay, thank you. Clerk Flintoff.
Sure. This is a little bit about kind of organizational leadership and operations. So the operations director oversees a wide range of functions, including IT, utilities, parks, management of contracts, code enforcement, and project management. How do you lead effectively across areas where you may not be the technical expert?
So in my former position of Dearborn Heights, I was named the technical expert in IT with no IT background. I also was in charge of building 2 libraries. I was the city delegate and sometimes alternate for CLEWA positions and for a lot of the watershed opportunities, CSO basin building. What I believe is important is to have a strong support staff. You have contractors, you have external people that can come into play, whether it be SEMCOG, MML, MMRMA, and then internal, you have your employees as well, that these are the eyes and ears and experts. So having a good team and having trust that they know what they're talking about and providing the right information, I believe I don't have to be an expert, and if I am an expert at everything, then I'm failing at something.
Great, thank you.
Do you want me to give examples? Or?
Sure.
Please elaborate.
Okay, all right. The city, a long time ago, when I worked at the city of Dearborn Heights, I noticed that we had different IT contractors for each department. So police department, fire department, city hall, each building sometimes multiple in a building. I also realized we still had some landlines, copper wire landlines. And when I started looking at the phone bills and compiling all the technology bills, all the, way before Wi-Fi, all the internet connections, I realized we were spending a lot of money, and there was a lot of fixes and patchwork for different IT specialists on different levels that was creating a lot of issues. So I went outside, I looked at a couple different communities, and I found that the Township of Redford had used a person to consolidate phone services and upgrade the system at the same time. I used her in 2006, and then again, I used her in 2018 with help intermittently, but in 2006, we moved everything onto a fiber and coaxial, and then in 2018, we moved a lot of stuff towards the cloud. So again, I didn't have the experts, I didn't understand where any of her schematics were, but I knew that we were spending a lot of money, I knew something was broken, and I relied on other communities to tell me who they used, and we ended up saving several $100,000, and we updated and upgraded twice.
Great, thank you. Treasurer, or are you finished?
May I?
Let's give Riser a couple of moments to come on up.
Hello, I was here for the last part of your first question and heard all the second. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Welcome again. Thanks for sharing everything so far. Describe a time when you had to communicate challenging or unpopular information to leadership, staff, or the public. How did you handle it?
So there was one instance, well, there are several instances. Dearborn Heights is famous for flooding. Our Ecorse Creek floods every couple years and just wipes out homes. But one particular time during the Great Recession, our community was a bedroom community at the time. We didn't have any business to fall back on. We didn't have a rainy day fund because we were already using it as appropriations were being reduced with revenue sharing. So we were hit hard during the Great Recession. We, at the time, already had a reduced staff. There was a need to get creative, and there was a need to get creative quick. In the summer of 2008, we realized right after we passed the budget that there wasn't going to be state help. The former mayor was a finance person, and I actually worked for him when he served the state legislature on appropriations, assuming there would be some state help. At that time, other communities around us were also losing millages left and right. We had to come up with a plan to pass millages to somehow get cost savings and a already reduced budget, and to go to the public and have them find a reason for a millage. You don't want to say we're cutting services and you have to pay us more money. So what I did was I met with all the unions in the city council chambers and laid it out to them. No union contract was open. Different unions, I felt if they were all together, there wouldn't be this inner fighting between unions. Well, what did police give? What did fire give? And we laid it out. People would be laid off. We wanted to avoid layoffs. We needed concessions. Each group brought us concessions. Our AFSCME group, our secretarial staff, our DPW, who got paid the least, came up with the most. They gave us a 10% reduction in salaries outside of a union contract. We, as department heads, took that 10% reduction and also took everything else, so any cell phone stipends off the table to show good faith. We also used this time to make sure that our employees were heard and they were working with us together. Our firefighters, every single weekend and on nights, went out and walked for millages. We didn't have elected officials walk for millages. We had elected officials at the time that were fighting as well. And it wasn't a matter of they didn't like the community. I think everybody on our council and the mayor at the time really was fighting hard for what they thought was best for the community. But with that, there was some conflict. So what I did was I actually stepped outside of my role and went above the mayor, and I met with a couple council members that were at the time like his biggest adversaries. And her name was Marge Horvath. She passed away, but I laid it out to her and I said, I know you don't like the mayor and therefore you don't like me, but I also know that you love this community more than you don't like the mayor. So I'm asking you, if you have another way other than this millage, please let me know. And she didn't. She didn't agree with all the spending, but she knew the millage needed to be passed. And we put our differences aside until the millage. I offered her a sucker punch to me after the millage passed. She didn't take it. We ended up being really good friends and we worked together because I think she understood at that point that she cared more about the community than she cared about this grudge. And I went back to the mayor and I told him what I did, and he at first cared more about the grudge, but then ended up, we did pass that millage and we got our recession. We got through the recession and we restored most of the salaries.
Nice.
So I guess I'm sorry to really elaborate on this, but in order to meet with everybody, I used different forms to meet with different people, whether it was a personal level with a council person, whether it was bringing all the unions together, or whether it was going door to door with our biggest salespeople, the firefighters, everybody.
Trustee Brandt?
Yeah, sure. One second, I gotta pull up my questions. Oh, thanks. Hi. So you looked me up. That's good.
You're very impressive with your IT
Thank
skills.
you. Okay, so here's a question. In what way would you ensure fiscally and ethically responsible actions and cultivate a culture of accountability to both township elected officials and residents? Thank you.
And residents?
Yes.
So Scio has
I'm gonna just give you a little.
Scio.
Yeah, I was,
know it. I don't know it.
everyone does that. It's no problem. It's okay.
Yeah, I know it. I don't know why I.
That's okay. Everyone does
I'm just
it.
gonna keep saying
It's okay.
This board has an amazing diversity of skill and knowledge and background, and you have an amazing, I've watched some of your board meetings. You have residents that care and show up. I think that in order to have this fiscal responsibility, we need to have policies in place. We need to have, when we have accountability, we need to understand our roles. And I think everybody understanding the roles will help. And I think meeting with the public and the employees and the board and understand that what we do, what we're sworn to do or what we're hired to do or what we vote people in to do is to do what's best for Scio Township. Not do what's best for Scio Township's residents, not do what's best for Scio Township employees or elected officials. A lot of times that works the same, but sometimes an action might not work what's best for everybody across the board. I have a talent to come up with win-win-win-win situations. However, I think it's important that we keep our eye on the prize. We know our boundaries and limitations. We have GAAP, we have stocks, we have financial reporting we have to do for the state, We have deadlines that have to be made, we have to pass a balanced budget. We have to do this within ordinance and state laws. There's no budging beyond that, that's a full stop. Our residents seeing what we have to work with and what our options are is a good choice. However, a lot of times, I think when residents are passionate, they come up and they say, we want this fixed this way. I think meeting with these larger groups, if they have certain passions and certain projects or certain concerns that they all have, we can list that problem and then we list possible ways to fix it. Do an analysis. We don't have to do something great and pay somebody, but just come down to, this is the problem. It's not that your water bills maybe are too high. It's, let's break down all of this and what you're getting for, and then let's get to the root of the problem, which might not be what they're coming and raising their concern about. It was just one particular person, but years ago, there was a woman who came into City Hall and she was upset. Her homestead was being rejected. She had quit her job to take care of her ailing mother. Her mother ended up passing, and then she was diagnosed with a couple debilitating health issues that caused her to no longer be able to work. Her mother had put her name, the woman's name, on the house, but they never transferred it and recorded it with the Register of Deeds. So this meant that her taxes were uncapped. She was going to have to pay in Wayne County a fee for not registering. She was going to have to get a new permit, a certificate of occupancy permit, and all of this was going to cost money that she didn't have. She didn't want to pay the money. So we sat down and we worked with her. Well, I sat down and I worked with her. And I went through everything that she was having to pay. And I listened, and she had this story, and she also had some medical concerns, which put her into a poverty exemption. So we worked with her. She did pay those fees. We worked with the payment plan if she'd make it. But on the other end, her taxes were actually reduced because of this poverty exemption. So like I said, I'm good at getting creative. I can't waive these fees, but we can within there kind of work the money around to see where she leaves. Not 100% happy, but she benefited financially from it.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Trustee Noel, you're up.
Hello. What role have you played in developing and managing organizational budgets? And how do you ensure financial discipline across departments?
So my main job for 17 years was preparing the city budget and maintaining that monthly, but more so we went bi-weekly. When we had our department head meeting, I would make sure that everybody's honed into the budget. I don't believe in 10% reductions across the board. I don't believe in having your revenue generating departments and then the ones that don't generate revenue, because it's all a part of the body. You need people, the revenue generators as well as expenditures. I'm sorry, I'm getting over a sinus infection, so I will be drinking lots of water. I started working in these department head meetings because I noticed right away that we had certain department heads every year that would say, "What do you need, Chrissy?" And they would give me everything down to, well, we don't need pencils this year. And then we had other departments who it was dire that they had the most every single year. And then we had other departments still that would come across and say, well, every year I give back 20% of my budget. And that's good, but it's really not, because there's other things that are budgeted for. We started meeting before the mayor would meet with these department heads, and we started developing a multi-year plan. That's something that many other counties do, but communities in Wayne County didn't do. So if you didn't have this much in expenditures, our council would say, well, why is your capital outlay increasing by 200% this year? Well, we need a fire truck this year. We need police vehicles this year. We also started looking at the big picture where instead of doing these huge purchases for some things like police vehicles, we could purchase 12 police vehicles every single year and just continue that on a rolling basis. Same with DPW. We started using different funds for DPW, leveraging more Act 51 monies to get some of the vehicles in. We started looking at, I know you guys are looking at a fire truck. We worked with other communities and we actually found a much wealthier northern neighbor of us was selling a used fire truck that still had 20 years on, so we were able to do that. We were able to bond, we were able to get grants, but when we were all working together, it kind of made everybody have skin in the game, right? It wasn't just fire versus everyone, or DPW versus everyone, and they weren't all fighting for that piece of the pie. We were all in it together, and it helped too, because I'm going to city council and saying, yes, I'm asking for more. You had other department heads going, we know police is getting more this year, but we might be getting our gym next year.
Thank you.
Trustee Reed?
This question is in regards to resource planning and managing information and resources. The Board of Trustees is committed to streamlining township functions to improve areas such as accuracy, efficiency, and reporting. Describe your experience integrating and managing a contract or project of this nature.
So I wear many hats. I oversaw all the contracts for IT, for garbage, waste hauling, for union negotiations. But I'm trying to think when that does. Okay. So through the Great Recession, the city of Dearborn Heights never laid off one employee. We were able to do everything I spoke about without laying off one employee. We did move some positions around, and one of the positions was an animal control officer. It might have been more for personal reasons, for the current animal control officer wasn't performing. We were having police officers have to follow him and wake him up. And so that person was moved to a different department and that position was eliminated. Fast forward several years later, this department was needed. Our police officers were not prepared to go out and wrangle dogs. Our animal licenses were not up to date, which meant a dog bite. You have your licenses, that means that these dogs are vaccinated. If you don't, then we don't know. It also led to more stray dogs. It led to some children getting bit and actually 3 dogs being shot by our police officers at different times because they did not know how to handle. But anytime you discharge a weapon, there's other paperwork, and it was a fiasco. At the same time, we had just moved our ordinance department away from our building department because there was a change in the current building director, and he was just getting up to speed, and I don't think he had the capacity to handle both. So we had this ordinance department that needed more people. We had possible grants, and we had the extra funds from the building licenses that we were told by our attorneys and our auditors that we had to use. You can't make money off a building department, can't make money on a set, you can't make a profit, and we were collecting more fees than what we were spending out. So we had a unique opportunity to put extra people in. And what I decided to do was take this opportunity and cross-train my ACO and ordinance officers. This wasn't heard of before. A lot of communities do it now because of girl, but it wasn't done before, and we were told it never works. You have to operate it from the police department, you have to operate one from ordinance. But I figured if our ordinance officers are out there every day and they have their districts, at the same time, obviously, every district, the community, we could, if we were touching with ordinance and touching with ACO, we could touch once with one person. So we were able to hire more people. The union was on board. The union loved it. And actually, the ordinance department, most people didn't want to go to, but now they're going to see action, and others were seeing puppies and kittens. And it was a great thing. So we cross-trained these individuals. And we also had extra money at the time to get the BSNA tablets. So this also leads into not just efficiency, but long story short, it leads that we were actually able to track our animal, our ordinance, and our building inspectors too at the time. So this left huge amounts of questions of whether somebody came out and they wrote on the pink slip of paper for a building, just do this. This led to pretty much it shut down any ordinance complaints that said, well, the ordinance officer said I could have 30 days, not 2 weeks. This was right there on the screen that protected us and protected the resident or the business owner. So we were able, it also led to more time too where they could be on the field. They weren't coming back and entering in the computer data entry. So once again, I think thinking outside the box, I was able to consolidate a department, bring back extra positions, create new positions, and then layer on top of it with this new technology.
Nice.
And I can elaborate more. I'm trying to limit it to 2 minutes, but I was quite proud of that one.
We can circle back later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Trustee Reiser.
Good afternoon. This question relates to purchasing and risk management. The role will serve as the township's purchasing agent and overseeing risk management. What principles guide your approach to procurement, contracting, and organizational risk? That is procurement, contracting, and organizational risk. All right, procurement principles that guide your approach to procurement, contracting, and organizational risk.
So like I said, I oversaw all contracts. I was also the MRMA representative for any liability, any lawsuits at the city of Dearborn Heights. So before, I kind of got to take this in 2 parts. Before we even go into the purchasing, the risk portion of it, I worked directly with MRMA and some of our attorneys at Cummings, McClory, Davis Natural, and came up with a plan, had them do kind of a self-audit of where our exposure was. Obviously, police issues, which was solved immediately by some training. We started a SLA process, which is a special legal assignment anytime an officer discharged a weapon or anytime a person was taken to the hospital, there would be an immediate call to our attorney. It wouldn't be paid for initially by MRMA. MRMA ended up paying for it later on, the insurance company. But it was costing the city maybe $5,000 to $1,500, where the attorney immediately would come on and say, okay, this is what you do. We realized most of the times that we were sued, it was something that happened after the fact. It wasn't anything that happened during. Over to the purchasing side, I worked for a long time with a really smart comptroller who really had his stuff together. And we looked at everything, every RFQ, every RFP. The city of Dearborn Heights at the time also only had a $1,500 variance where they couldn't go to council without $1,500. Anything over $1,500, $5,000 for services. So we were tight there. I don't think you need to increase it that much. I really don't. I think I can make a phone call to everybody if there's an issue, and we can have an emergency meeting, a vote, we can after the fact, but I like that oversight too. It's a CYA for everybody. But we looked at RFQs, RFPs. We made sure all bid openings We taped, we didn't have to, but we taped. We also made sure that what was open in the bid wasn't changed later on. A lot of times, it wasn't just council, it was the department heads who were saying, but Chrissy, we could get a better deal. Well, that's after the fact, that's outside the contract, that's not only not fair, but that's not right. There's a reason for a process. We did find it easier to use the Oakland County bid, the state of Michigan bid, other communities' bids, if they were putting in the work. For the garbage contract myself, I worked with several other communities. I noticed when the big bins were coming in, I was trying to find a way that we could pay for the big bins. Our compost were going up, so I took a bunch of different communities' bids and RFQs, and I put them together for ours, and that ended up being mirrored where, again, we saved money by not paying for compost, but did get these bins. I can't think of a specific thing that hits all of it. I'm hoping I'm answering your question. Is there any part that
It is a compound question. What principles guide your approach to procurement? You talked about that, contracting and organizational risk. I think you hit on all three, but
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry I couldn't put them together.
No, that's compound question.
So this,
Thank you.
okay, so this next question is about leadership style. How would you describe your leadership style and how do you build trust, accountability, and performance management within an organization?
I like to listen. I looked it up, my leadership style, and I was somewhat of an autocrat where I like a good inner group, but I also do that when I know that the department heads are actually listening to their employees. I myself would go down and visit the police department, the fire department. When there was a new fire chief, for 6 months, I was meeting with the fire chief and the fire union every Wednesday morning with our HR director for 4 hours to get over all the different, we were getting hit with grievances and policies and just to get everybody back on board. I believe that the employees are the ears and they're the face of the community. The board, the mayor, the chief administrator can make the rules, but the people that are affecting our residents every day are the people that are on the streets that are answering the phones. So I really believe in listening to employees. I believe in working with unions, and I believe in working with our department heads. I am a public service person. I have a huge passion for municipal government, and I think it takes a key person to be compassionate and objective in the situations. I like asking an employee, what do you do? What is your role? A lot of times we have outdated, I can't think of the word right now. I blame this on my science. Yeah, job descriptions. They're outdated. They're a machine operator when everybody now has a computer. It's what do you do and what do you find passionate and what they're good at? A lot of times employees really have good ideas about different things and you know, some might be outside, but if you can hone in on it, I think you find what they're passionate, you find what they're good at, you highlight that, you work with them for new job descriptions, and you might be able to get enhanced services. From there, they start trusting you because they know that you're there to listen. I also believe in getting my feet dirty. I would never ask anybody to do something I wouldn't do. We had those floods, and people would call and scream and yell and tell horrible things, and I was right there on the phone listening to the residents with the employees and telling the employees they need to go out and walk outside. At the time, it was still okay to have a cigarette outside, just take a break, that's fine, but I was right there listening to those phone calls too. I wasn't, and the hardest phone calls transferred to me. I'll talk to the people, I'll listen to the people, I'll take the heat, so I'm right there. And if a resident did get a little too mean or threatening, I was right there to stop that too, and bring it to me, and take it to me, and let the employee go sit down.
Good, nice. Clerk Flintoff.
Sure. So this question gets to the effective management of change or crisis. Could you please share an experience when you led through a significant change or crisis?
The biggest one I already used. So, once again, the city of Dearborn Heights, there's two for this. I lost my job at the city of Dearborn Heights because I wasn't reappointed because the mayor at the time passed away suddenly from COVID. I knew it was an appointed position, and because there was a lot of issues between council members and the council members and the mayor, I knew my time was numbered. But I had to keep the city going. And COVID was still very much, it was December 2020, that second wave was hitting. We were in Wayne County, in one of the highest community in Wayne counties. We had a lot of multi-generational families that had these COVID cases. So I made sure that I personally had everything in order, like to whoever assumed my position, do this, do this, do this, do this. At the same time, I was having daily conversations with our office staff to let them know that they were protected. They would stay, and this was a part of the democratic process. Don't warn me, life will go on. And then with some of the other department heads too, especially the police and fire chief, who were worried about what was coming and who had enough years to retire. So I made sure, leading by example, that things continued through the next appointment, whether I was there or not. Now, the more specific, I can tell for a different part, that is something I'm really proud of myself for. Most people say if I could change one thing, I could nothing. To this day, I was proud of myself for sticking to it, and I didn't think I had it in me, but I did. To the other situation, we have this Ecorse Creek that floods all the time, and what would happen is as it would flood, you would have different attorneys that would come in and try to do class action lawsuits. The state of Michigan put a limit on the amount of, I'm sorry, not the state, of insurance that could be held, and we no longer were insured for this flooding. The attorneys knew that, so they stopped suing the city. You're not gonna get and I should say it wasn't the city's fault. It was a regional issue. The city didn't flood people's homes. We were trying to solve it. There's an airport upstream and other things that were all dumping into Dearborn Heights, which was the lowest part, just a bathtub. So this last time it flooded, I had enough experience to know what worked and what didn't. FEMA would come in, state hazard mitigation officers would come in, and they would tell people they would pay for things, and these residents who were losing $10,000, $20,000 worth of stuff were given a check of $500 a couple years later. It was depleting our home values, and after going through a flood, you lose all your memories, right? All your pictures and stuff, but you can put a water heater in the ceiling of your basement, but there's no way to lift all of your appliances that you keep in the basement. And these homes weren't that big. They were 1,000 square feet. They needed that space. So I opened up, once again, we had the center. I opened up to have the state hazard mitigation officer and FEMA there to do their walking. But then I also had Red Cross and a lot of our service groups. A lot of our service groups wanted to help. And with them, we had plumbers, we had HVAC repair people that would go out and at cost, or sometimes very minimal cost, $10, $20, and some of our inspectors were doing it an hour, just helping people. We had Home Depot come in and drop off a couple $1,000s worth of gift cards, and then we started having businesses drop off extra gift cards to Home Depot and stuff that we were able to disperse. We had employees and other residents and CERT members, if you're familiar with CERT, the citizen, go out and help people clean their basements. We had kits provided by Wayne County that helped clean basements, but then we had other hardware stores that were offering different bleach and stuff. And it was a terrible situation. These people were still very mad and very upset. But, I mean, we had Art Van delivering mattresses, but with that, we were able to get through this crisis together. We also had, I'm just trying to think of we had, in the meantime, I was walking with these state hazard mitigation officers and FEMA members who had just come from a flood either in Louisiana or Texas, and they had said that there's these grants to move homes or demolish homes that are along waterways. So I got creative and I started applying for, and we received 3 different grants to buy homes along Ecorse Creek. It wasn't a lot. It didn't impact the flooding area, but I was able, through my last years there, to purchase 35 homes.
Wow.
We were able to purchase them at a market value if they didn't flood. So this helped the residents who had purchased a home and then had, yeah, so, and it became a green one. So I think taking a terrible situation, while it was still bad, them knowing that we cared, it wasn't up there saying, we're gonna get you money. It was actually, we tried. And I think we made a difference in enough people's lives.
Thank you. Treasurer Gable, last question?
Yep, thank you. Final closing question. I'm sure you'll maybe have some questions for us. What attracted you to the operations director role here in Scio Township? And why do you believe you are the right fit for this organization at this point in your career?
For me personally and selfishly, I need to work in municipal government. I've worked in state government before. I worked at Blue Cross for a minute. I am now working at an auto supplier, and I need to do something. Younger generations describe it like altruistic almost. I need to help people. What I feel, what I do at the end of the day, I put in extra hours, and I don't see how I'm making the world a better place. I'm helping profits, but I'm not helping people. I need to help people. I need to be creative. I feel my brain isn't being used right now where I can problem solve. I feel I personally need to work for municipal government. Why Scio? There is, first of all, your community is beautiful. The environmental, Clerk Flintoff, the environmental impact that you guys are doing is really cool. I was telling Aurora that I drank probably this much layer of earth of bottled water in my earlier life, and I feel like I owe my grandchildren, so I really like that. I like the community diversity of the board. I would be so honored to work with people who serve in Ann Arbor, who an SAP, like I'm looking at LinkedIn profiles that are just really impressive in this wide breadth of knowledge and the passion that I've watched these meetings, and to keep your cool throughout having residents come up, I think is really impressive. Why you want me is because I come from a community that does have very passionate residents, and it's sometimes there was conflict, and it's because of passion. It's later on there was conflict because of some more sinister reasoning, but I can tell you that I have that experience, and I can tell you, and if you talk to anybody really in this city, even people that didn't used to necessarily like me when they left, they're like, Christy wouldn't do that. And I keep high to make sure that I do not only break anything, but I make sure that we have rules for a reason. You guys work to have ordinances. The state of Michigan works to have rules and laws, and it's to protect all of us. And I really believe if there's an issue with that rule, then we can work on changing the rule, but we don't work on breaking the rule. I think there's a lot to offer with this area, with being so close to U of M Ann Arbor to have access to these students who probably just really want to help in different ways with AI, possibly with more environmental and things that we might not even think of, but these students, these great students, like the best university in Michigan, we're so close to.
Careful.
Are you, I did not state. I am a divided household.
Yeah.
My husband is very much green and white. And yet we work together too, so. So I know you have my resume, I could go into more details, but that's why Scio. I think there's a lot there, and I think that passion can be used for great things. And I think it's good. I don't think it's other communities where everybody gets along and it's just perfect on all levels. Somebody's not saying something. I think passion is good to make changes and positive changes.
Thank you. Do you have questions for us?
I would like, I have so many questions, but I guess I know I've spoken a little longer. What are you guys looking for? Like, is there a collective focus that you, education, budget? I'm a rock star at budgets. I don't know if you're looking for something particular in a candidate, and how long would the process be?
Well, Clerk Flintoff, let's start with you.
I don't know that we have something collective, which is part of the challenge of working here. But I would say, I think what's really important at this moment in time is management of people, and figuring out a way to have management of people that is supported by the board. Historically, that's been something that's been a tension between the board and management, is, you know, the board kind of undermining management, or management not being strong enough, or some combination thereof. So figuring that out for Scio, we've professionalized quite a bit, but we need to turn the corner and figuring out how to have that strong manager of people be respected and supported by the board.
And would you, just to follow up, like, are you looking for not collectively, but possibly like a 6 months, within 3 months, getting fingers, bearings, and then within the next 3 months to have a plan in place, or?
Yeah, I would defer to,
Okay.
I would defer personally, but I just think in terms of what's needed most is just figuring out a way to develop our staff, manage performance. We have such a diversity of functions here, and we're still pretty small. And we've only recently had human resources, up-to-date job descriptions, clarity of duties, and now we got to figure out how to really manage performance.
Treasurer Abel.
Thank you. I would concur. Aurora is our first HR official employee within the township. We've just started doing performance management discussions internally. It's something as a skill that some of our longtime department heads, as well as some of our newer department heads, just don't have a lot of practical experience with. So we've just completed the first real year of that, and we're going into our second year of that sort of program. But we're developing a lot of talent that hasn't had that people management experience before, so it's an opportunity to grow, but also an opportunity where we as the board, and also whomever ends up in this role, needs to work collaboratively, because sometimes the board, or some of the board members' views and some of the internal staff here's views has not always aligned. It's caused some disagreements and just some difficulty having some. It's not always a fun conversation, but it's a conversation that needs to be had.
I like that you said opportunity too.
Yeah.
Trustee Knoll?
You said you've watched the board meetings and you've observed us at board meetings. And you might have noticed differing perspectives. Share some of your observations from watching the board meetings.
So this may seem, again, this goes back to my selfishness. Nostalgia? I don't want to say it's like glutton for punishment, but it's, I see, like when you're in the third hour of the same concern being raised, you start to doodle sometimes, and that might be the time where you get that click, like, oh, I didn't look at it this way. Or like a resident might say something slightly different that might form. It's the same when you're in contract negotiations with a union and you're ready to go to arbitration and it's been 2 years and nobody's budging and all of a sudden it just happens, right? I don't know the answer to a lot of, especially that really long meeting.
Which one?
Long meetings. Yeah, which one? Without like, ostracizing anybody, I really think that the people that show up, and you're always going to have the people that show up and have an opinion about everything, right? Mm-hmm. You're regulars. But the people that show up with a concern, I think there's two things to remember and two things you can do. How much is that mirrored with the rest of the community? Do you have 30 or even 100 people that are really angry and really concerned about something, and is that it? Or are they representative of the community? Mm-hmm. And second thing, these people that are very passionate, can we, I don't want to say hone the passion, but can we use that passion for something? You're passionate about this, and it doesn't have to be create a new committee, but there might be an opportunity to have citizen volunteers for different things, to come up with a group. And I think a lot of times these people that are really passionate, they want to be heard, they want to be listened to, and if you give them an actionable opportunity, they might start seeing your point of view. They might start seeing or maybe not, but they're still, therefore now a part of the community. They're not just a resident, they're now a part of the government. They're working or volunteering somehow. And I think it makes them, as they're now getting those other residential concerns, maybe seeing it a little different ways. So I think there's an opportunity there. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll find it. I will. If there's one, I'll find it.
Thank you.
My passions are Excel spreadsheets and outdoors, so I really get analytical with stuff, and I know there's a solution to everything.
Trustee Reed, you had your hand up.
I guess I would be looking for a couple of things. I was on the board for about 10, 11 years and then off the board for 4 and now back on again.
I know.
And during that first term, we had 2 or 3 different, well, we called them township managers back then, which is effectively what this job will be. And some of our meetings only lasted 20, 30 minutes. We'd often go have the meeting after the meeting at Carlisle's or somewhere. But yeah, meetings from 7 to 1, they have to stop. But I think a lot of those meetings were handled, they were short, number one, because there was no development. It was during them, you know. But also I think our township managers handled a lot of the issues and shortened or perhaps even dealt with some of the problems so that we didn't have to deal with, we knew about them, but we didn't have to actually deal with them at the board table. So that would be, I would be hoping that you would start filling that role. And the other thing is, with respect to employee, staff, board relationships, you said 3 months. I think that's very optimistic. But I would expect some definite progress, certainly within 6. Because obviously you have to build trust. People have to get to know you and understand that when they ask you something, you're going to be honest with them. And but certainly I think 3 would be, I don't think is realistic, but 6 I think probably would be a good time. But
I should have been more clear. I meant like 3 months to get my feet wet, to kind of get
Oh,
the lay of the
oh, oh.
land, and then 6 months to come back and say, okay,
Right.
I think I have a plan, and I can start, and I can show where I'm starting to work on. So, yeah, I didn't want to
Okay.
My timeline's already doubled.
You're not that good.
Yeah.
Christina, do you have more questions for us?
Right now, no, I don't.
Well, then I have something to say.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to give you a chance to ask us questions, because I think that's important, that you start to learn the board members, which I think you've done. What you're watching meetings, you know exactly what you're getting into. One thing that I would like to see is I would like to see more professional behavior with our tools that we use. So we sort of give people a pass that they don't have to use Microsoft tools. This is calendaring, this is meeting invites, actually extending to our BS&A system. And I want to get everyone, including the trustees, to use these tools, because we're not doing that right now. It's very inefficient. It makes me cuckoo. Why can't any one of us create a meeting invitation and send it to the people that need it? You wouldn't believe the somersaults that we do to find out, are you available for this date? And why do we do that? Because
Not on Teams.
because you're not, no, not on Teams, because we're not maintaining our township calendar. It's as simple as that. So people have their own private calendars. The tool is there. Let's be more efficient in using those. That efficiency then leads to better work outcomes. It leads to more collaboration. It leads to more time to ponder how to address a situation. So we burn a lot of turf on what I think are things that all of us can do. Now, you've seen my background. I came out of professional environment for 30 years, and when I see an organization that isn't using a tool that's been out there for 30 years, my head explodes. Like, why are we not doing this? So some of it is training, some of it is coaching, and some of it is downright, you gotta use it, right?
I 100%. When I started for the city of Dearborn Heights, there was something called Word Perfect that was still being used in a Quadtran instead of BSNA.
Oh, yeah.
So I moved everybody to BSNA and those tablets.
Right, I picked up on that.
Yeah. It's very much efficient that it's out there, especially for my calendar to the board. It's kind of me being accountable to the board where you can see when I'm in office or not in office.
Absolutely, and I get no visibility, and I know that the triggers are there in Outlook, that I could see anybody's calendar, but not here. I can't see anybody's calendar. So that's one thing. But I'll continue on the professionalism track that we need to develop professional staff, meaning how they deal with their job and how they deal with residents and how they deal with the board. We need improvements in that, and I think you are a good candidate to do that. I just want one last thing. I turned down the University of Michigan, just so you know. I went to Michigan State. I came to look at U of M, me and a friend. My friend went to Yale. I went to Michigan State. We just thought it was too arrogant.
I thought so too.
So,
When I toured the campus.
I have seen your degrees from the university, but I give you a lot of credit because it wasn't in Ann Arbor.
Well, and that's exactly when I looked. I was initially, quick story, going to school for aerospace engineering when I first started.
Really?
Yes. And there was 3 schools that I looked at: Ohio State, U of M Ann Arbor, and MIT. And at the time had really high ACT scores. They're blown out now, like it's not. But I was really proud of my ACT scores, and I went down there, and Yeah, I did not like it. I felt the same way, and it's a lot different now. I think it's more generational, but I felt the same way. I actually visited more friends at Michigan State. I don't think I ever visited a friend in Brooklyn.
No, I like your broad background, so people are asking questions, what are you asking a question, what does this board want? I think we want that broad experience, clearly on the finances, clearly on managing people, clearly on managing contracts. We want all of that stuff, and I personally want a more professional organization, and let's embrace the professional organization. People fight it, and it becomes personal, and it's like, it's not personal. We're trying to be more efficient. Thank you.
Make them better, too. Make them.
Trustee Reiser, did you have anything?
No, I'm looking for municipal experience in managing people in the budgets, and you've got that with the contracts, you've got that with the unions, you've got that with trash hauling, so those are the kind of things that, you're gonna get 7 answers to that. But, management skills, leadership, budget, experience with what cities and townships do.
And I do like that. I do like building that. I like coming at you with your problems. Bring them to me and we'll work together.
All right, there won't be a shortage.
No. And like I said, working and I found ways to work weekends, and I put myself to work nights and weekends there because it's just not, you can't just shut off at 5, like when my phone stopped ringing. I'm like, this is not right. And thankfully enough people in Dearborn Heights and other communities still call me for I like it. It's almost a personality trait that I love municipalities.
Like that you're dedicated, yeah. Aurora, do you have anything?
I do not. Yeah.
Okay.
4 o'clock, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I do like the representative red and blue that's coming together. Maybe our country can do the same.
Are we going to share what our time frame is?
I can chat with her as I walk out.
Okay, good.
And thank you for meeting with me today, too. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Thank you. Okay, so we have,
5 minutes.
yeah, we have a 5 minutes. Let's, I guess, take a break if we need to. Yeah. Well, welcome back. And we are on to our next candidate, Burton Packard. Do you go by Burton or Burton? Okay, thank you. We will begin with some questions, and I'll start with myself. We're going to introduce, Supervisor Jillian Carey. We'll just go down this way and then back the other way.
Hi, my name's Jessica Flintoft. I'm the clerk.
I am Kathleen Brandt. I'm a trustee.
As am I, John Reiser.
I'm Christy Aiken, office coordinator,
Office manager.
operations manager. That was April 1st.
Operations manager.
Okay.
All righty. My name is Brian Gable. I'm the township treasurer.
I'm David Reed. I'm a trustee as well.
Kathy Knoll, township trustee.
Okay. We'll begin with this section, working with an elected board. This position reports directly to the Board of Trustees. How do you approach maintaining a productive relationship with elected officials while ensuring the organization operates effectively day to day?
Communication first and foremost. You got to have a clear line of communication between administration, board, myself.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Clerk Flintoff.
Sure. I want to ask a little bit about leadership and operations. As operations director, you would oversee a wide range of functions, including utilities, parks, contracts, information technology, code enforcement, project management. Across these diverse activities, how would you lead effectively in areas where you may not be the technical expert?
that's where you lean on your team. And you gotta communicate, facilitate, figure out who is the expert in that area, and you lean on them there. Hopefully I have a strong acumen in most, or a good portion of this, but everything is done with teamwork. You gotta lean on each other and work together. It's the only way to get things done the correct way.
And can you share a little bit of maybe a past example, or more specifically about how you would do that, how you would discern if somebody has the expertise, and what you would do if maybe they didn't?
Yeah, the first thing you would do is talk to them, obviously, and figure out what you feel after speaking with them, what their abilities are, what they are, their strengths, weaknesses. And then the biggest thing is you have to constantly monitor, okay? Check in, communicate, relay, have open lines of communication so that if they have problems, they can get a hold of you. And then facilitate, teach, coach while monitoring. And then at a certain point, they should be able, with the proper systems and functions and teaching in place, they should be able to take what you taught them and run with that. And then down the road, you should need less facilitation. That's how proper systems and processes should function. So that's how I would approach that. I've done that my whole career.
Thank you. Next is Treasurer Gable.
Sure. This touches on communication and transparency, dealing with difficult situations. So describe a time where you had to communicate challenging or unpopular information to leadership, staff, or to the public. How did you handle it?
Do you want the exact example of something I've done?
Yeah, it'd be
Okay.
really helpful.
So, for example, a company I was working for a few years ago, I came in as the GM, and we were doing fertilization in-house. There was some issues with that as far as safety concerns, liability concerns, environmental concerns on my end, and then fiscal responsibility. The numbers were not good at all on them. So that's where I looked at the scenario and the situation, and what I ended up doing is outsourcing that part of the business. It was about, not that much, about $100,000 worth of work a year. But instead of losing 30 grand on it every year and dealing with all these things, it turned out to be, we made about 70,000 on the sale of the accounts for the first year. And then the reoccurring revenue that we got off that was still, our margins were like 40% on those. So instead of losing 30 grand, I flipped it to about a $75,000 change through the year. But more importantly, the risk management and liability associated with it was mitigated. So that was the main reason for that. An example.
Thank you.
And that was hard to communicate further on that. The reason that was a little bit tough is because obviously we got a fertilization department. We have people who relied on that for their income. But it was the right choice to make. It had to be made. What we ended up doing was training 2 gentlemen from that department who were the leads, and we integrated them into other parts of the company where they were very successful. So we didn't you don't just toss them out. Found other areas of weakness, we worked together, and we implemented it there. That answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Brandt.
Sure, hi. This question is regarding, again, communications and transparency, specifically creating a transparent culture.
Yep.
So here's the question. In what way would you ensure fiscally and ethically responsible actions and cultivate a culture of accountability to both township elected officials and residents?
Well, first and foremost, it would be through transparency. We would have to all be on the same page, constant communication, constant meetings where everyone's hearing the same inputs. That's kind of the start of that, and then you can move on from there depending on, I don't know what specific area you're asking about.
Well, it's a broad question,
Yeah,
culture,
that's- if you can hone it
culture of accountability.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start with communication. If everyone's communicating and hearing the same things, you should be able to track accountability on these things. Also, things like, I don't know if you guys use CRMs or different, I'm sure you use different database management of some sort for your communications.
A municipal ERP system.
Same thing. The way you use those systems are ways to enable, what's the word? Using those systems correctly enables transparency because everyone should be able to stay on the same page and see everything if they're utilized correctly. Through the CRMs I've used through my life.
Right, I just want to be clear,
Yep.
this is not a customer relationship management software package. That's not
I
what,
understand that, it's a different business line, but it's still.
it's not a business line, it's local government.
I understand that, but.
But we do have a system.
I'm just saying, even in the sales line of business, we all use that, so everyone is on the same page, from the front office to the guys in the field. It's transparency, it's communication. You can't physically talk to someone 10 hours a day. You have to have some sort of system where people can see what's going on as well. That's what I'm saying.
Next is trustee Noel.
Hi. What role have you played in developing and managing organizational budgets? And how do you ensure financial discipline across departments?
Well, I've built financial budgets from the ground up for many businesses, including my own that I've started. I mean, that's a complex question with many points, but you have to see where, first of all, where the money lies and what is essential services. I should put it that way. And without, looking into things more, it's hard for me to dive deep into this, but you got to identify those essential services and then see where you may have some leaks, you may have some improper spending, you may have some oversight issues. Oversight's a really big thing. Obviously, I don't know your exact issues and where we're targeting, but when I do, or if I do, I would be able to dive into that much deeper.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Reed.
Sure. Hi.
This question is regarding managing information and resources.
Okay.
The Board of Trustees is committed to streamlining township functions and improve areas such as accuracy, efficiency, and reporting. Describe your experience integrating and managing a contract or project of this nature.
Can you just repeat that one more time?
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
I'm trying to follow.
The Board of Trustees is committed to streamlining township functions to improve areas such as accuracy, efficiency, and reporting. Describe your experience integrating and managing a contract or a project of this nature.
If I could add too, this is under enterprise resource planning, so managing information resources, financial or administrative management.
It's kind of a hard question to answer, to be perfectly honest with you. Managing resource and information is crucial. That kind of goes back to I've used CRMs my whole life. They're, in my opinion, one of the biggest tools any business can utilize to facilitate functions, processes, and systems. And then you put those systems and processes in place, and these help you manage them and monitor them, if that makes sense. That is the key. It's all about communication, systems, processes, and then managing those systems and processes and making sure you find weaknesses, and when you do, you improve them, and pointing out highlights too, and running with the areas that are working really well. It's all the same. It's all communication and management is really what it boils down to.
Thank you.
Trustee Reiser.
Thank you. This is about municipal purchasing and risk management. This role serves as the township's purchasing agent and oversees risk management. What principles would guide your approach to procurement, contracting, and organizational risk, or risk management?
Okay, the things I would look for, looking for contractors is what you're asking me, I
Well,
assume.
procurement, contracting, and risk management.
Okay, so, procurement, obviously, first of all, fiscally responsible. That's very important with any business. The township's exactly the same way. You gotta make sure you can afford whatever you're procuring or whatever you're looking at purchasing. Risk management, that goes into everything when you're hiring contractors, that make sure they're qualified, insured, everything's in place as far as that, and that they know the liability standards and they know the expectations. Purchasing, same thing. You got to do your research. you gotta know what you're buying, be an expert on it. You don't purchase anything from the first person you talk to ever. That's just kind of a baseline rule of business. Just some standard things like that you need to really think about and look at. And I've done purchasing my whole life, but I mean, at one point we had over $600,000 worth of equipment that we owned and was all paid off. Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, next is leadership style. That's my question. How would you describe your leadership style, and how do you build trust, accountability, and performance management within an organization?
I'm a very upfront leader. I like coaching, teaching, nurturing, building, teamwork. But I'm definitely a forefront leader. I like to lead by example. And if something needs to be done, I'm there facilitating, teaching. Before I don't like to leave things unattended if I don't know they're 110% going to be taken care of correctly. That's my thing. That's the way I've been in business my whole life. That's why I have good rapport with clients. I've never had issues. I've always had great reviews. Everything we've done business-wise has always been on the up and up, and that's integrity, honesty, and communication.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Clerk Flintoff.
Can I ask a follow-up question to that one?
Sure.
Just a follow-up to performance management. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you manage performance of your staff?
Yeah, there's many ways to do it. Typically, I did it off of, I like numbers. Numbers don't lie. So obviously attitude, behavior are huge things too. You can't, attitude is something that's hard to change. It's kind of, it's either built in, you're either on the good side of it or the bad side of it, in my opinion. You can get better, but you're not going to totally flip that. So that's one aspect of it. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I got lost halfway through that, but I had a lot more for you.
No, that's okay. I was just asking the follow-up about performance management. That's fine. I'll move to the next question, question 9. And this is in regards to effective management of change or crisis. Could you please share an experience when you led an organization through a significant change or crisis?
Yeah, unfortunately during COVID, when we were shut down, that was really tough on my business. Had a lot of contracts in place that fell through, had 7 employees relying on me. So what we had to do is really tighten up and change what we were doing for the time being. So I kind of just got creative with it, to be honest with you. I purchased some land at the time. We took down a bunch of trees. We started cutting all the firewood we had from trees taken down for the fuse. That lasted a couple months, sold all that. And then we started doing, my business partner at the time was in property management. He owned a lot of business properties he's been buying through the years. So what we did is we went in and started rehabbing those and did some remodeling on the side with the guys, demo work, just anything to keep them busy. And then luckily everything came back and business started booming again, but that was a tough time because in my mind I had to make sure they had a paycheck no matter what. So that would be the toughest time I had as a business owner.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Treasurer Yapel, closing question.
Sure. What attracted you to the operations director role here at Scio Township, and why do you believe you are the fit for this organization at this point in your career?
First and foremost, this is where I live. I raised my kids here. I grew up in Saline. I went to Eastern Michigan University. I've been here my whole life. I've had my business, started both my businesses here. Every business I've worked for has been in, this area, Ann Arbor, Saline, Ypsilanti area. I love the area. I want to protect the area. I think we have something special, and that's why people come here. There's a mix of a really vibrant city, downtown Ann Arbor, and then we have the country, which I love. Nature, environment, we have good schools, we have good people. And what attracted me, I really wasn't even looking for a job. I just know I could make a difference. So that's what brought me here today.
All right. Do you have questions for us?
I have one general question.
Okay.
What are you guys looking for? Like, what is your, if I come and become an operations manager here, what do you guys want from me? What are you lacking the most? You know, that's what I want to know, to be honest, that's really it. And I'm sure it's different for each person maybe it's congruent, and I know that's going to be a challenge of dealing with this, but that's something I've always been very good at, is communicating and dealing with all different people and listening.
Trustee Ricer, you were going to
So,
say something.
you know, you might get 7 different responses because we're all elected trustees, each of whom brings their own approach. I'm looking for someone with strong municipal experience, someone who's done city budgets, township budgets. I'm looking for someone who will comply with the policies of Scio Township and who will deal with our employees, who will be a good, strong leader and communicate, not only in addition to leading the staff, but communicating with a board that sometimes has 7 different approaches or a few different approaches, some of which are, sometimes there's conflict. So I want someone who can do a budget based on the state of Michigan, you know, guidelines for municipal budgets. I want someone who can manage people in different departments, and that could be parks, and that could be utilities, and that could be planning commission, and that could be fire, and that could be these disparate areas, but also liaise with the board. But that's just me. I don't know what the others have to say in that regard.
Thank you.
I thought I saw a hand over here.
I can do that.
Oh, go ahead.
Real quick, I would want someone with the personnel management skills, people skills is was one of the big things I'm looking for. And also the ability to manage issues and keep the board informed, but basically take care of the small stuff and don't let it bubble up to us.
Absolutely.
But let us know what's going on, but,
Yeah,
okay.
I got you. Understood.
Do you have more questions for us?
No, that's it.
Anybody else?
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
No, thank
Appreciate
you.
you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Bert.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all.
Nice meeting you. Still meeting. Wait for Aurora and Patsy to come back.
Jessica, are we allowed to go into closed session to discuss things? No? Okay.
I believe that they have a process for us, maybe, I would
Okay.
guess that it's maybe on Thursday. that we might do
Okay,
that. I
okay.
don't know,
Yeah, we have one more
Okay.
interview on
but I'm not
Thursday.
sure, John, we should ask.
Okay.
Kathy.
there's been a division of labor between MSL and us.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome back. So we have some questions. We're meeting on Thursday, we have a candidate on Thursday, and then what is the process from there, after that last candidate?
Do you want to give your?
Sure. After the last candidate, we would expect you to get together to deliberate, to come up with a finalist or a couple finalists, depending on how you're sensing with the candidates that you've heard from. And after you've deliberated, you can either proceed with a second interview or bring the person in for some tours or to get to know the organization, that kind of thing, for one last round. And then at some point after that, we expect you to be able to take a vote.
Okay, all right, thank you. Clerk Flintoff?
Can you share with us and for the public just kind of what the process has been to date? Because I know each of you have been working hard at this for a while. And in particular, I'm wondering about the vetting, because certainly, I'd be hesitant to, it's a balance, right? Like a body can come to have one or two top candidates, but sometimes I, as a policymaker, might hesitate to make that recommendation without first knowing that, the references have been checked or, at least enough of it has been done that we would be comfortable making a recommendation.
Sure. So we put out the job announcement. Based on that job announcement, we got 30 applications. Most of the applicants were not qualified for what we were looking for. So we narrowed it down to 5 candidates. After narrowing it down to, and when we narrowed it down to 5 candidates, the process to get to those 5 was an in-depth review of their information, their education, their experience, all of the things. I did a spreadsheet analysis of each of the candidates. And the candidates that rose to the top were 5 with municipal experience, leadership experience, educational background that you preferred, and those were the candidates that we moved forward with. Of those initial 5 candidates, 2 of those fell off, and we were left with 3 candidates. We felt that it was important to have present you all with a group of 5. So we went back and looked at those candidates who may not have had municipal experience, but had experience leading teams and managing personnel, projects, procurement. And these are the candidates that you're presented with this week. We have done, as far as vetting, some of the candidates are previous candidates, but we've done vetting. We've done preliminary online searches. If you move forward with 1 or 2 candidates, we will do a deep background on your preferred candidates. And if you decide to make an offer, it would be contingent upon a successful full background check that would include verification of the education. It would include credit. It would include criminal or civil litigation. It would include all of that. But we have not done those. Nor have we done references that they have presented to us.
That's what I was wondering about.
We have not done those. We certainly could do those if you have a desire. A lot of entities do not have a desire to hear from the references that they present. but I can do those prior to your deliberations if that is something that you're interested in. So to date, that's been the process.
Okay, thank you. Treasurer Hinkle?
Sorry, can I just make one follow-up question?
I would just say for me personally, for any finalist or finalists that we hone in on, I would be interested in receiving writing samples, any representative work product, and also any reference checks. I appreciate that it would not be appropriate to do the background check until if and when a conditional offer would be made, but some sort of check-in with references, even if it is the references that they presented. Thank you.
Treasurer Hinkle?
Thank you. I was actually going to concur with the representative writing sample statement. I do have some questions on some of the vetting. I would like, and I've actually recently was the recipient of one from one of my staff members outside of the township who was getting a reference check, and it does it through a survey format. They ask 30 or 40 different personality-based questions, you know, instead of just a, would you recommend this person or not? I don't know if MML has access to a tool like that or not. It was just very interesting. It was, you know, rating them on, it was a customer service position, so traits that were applicable to that, but I don't know if you had something that you guys could offer for this. I would, you know, also ask that when it is appropriate and at the right time, how extensive the background check is. Certainly, I appreciate the ability to use Google as much as the next person. But, you know, in my personal experience hiring people, I run up to 3 previous addresses, up to 7 previous years, and we actually send court runners out to the municipalities because oftentimes some of the records are mistyped or not perfect. So I would ask that we just be diligent with whomever we hire. Yeah, thanks.
It would not be a Google search. We do use a third-party investigation firm to conduct background.
Very good.
Trustee Noel, Trustee Reed? No. Treasurer, your treasurer. Trustee Brand? No. Trustee Riser?
I'm prepared to give feedback on both of these today, or are you waiting that we hear all 3 and then do that?
I think you should wait.
Okay, no, I'm fine with that. I've made notes and have feedback at the appropriate time, and that'll be after all the people are candidates are interviewed, correct? Okay.
Treasurer Hinkle has
Just one follow-up last question. Is it, in your experience, you know, in your role with MML, is it common to have, you know, this municipality has had some candidates drop out both times we've tried to go through this process, and is that fairly common?
It is a lot more common than you would expect. There are often candidates that drop out.
I'm just a little surprised because both times we've been through this, I understand as you're going through the vetting process, or even if it gets to be an extended interview opportunity, what have you, people find another line of employment or other opportunities or change their mind, but just kind of concerning with dropping out within 24 hours of interviews.
Yeah, and it's
sad.
Sometimes they just get cold feet and don't want to make a change, or have, now that it's time to actually come to the interview, they've made a decision that, hey, this is not the right time for me to move. So there are various reasons, but it is not uncommon to create a short list of 5 and have 1 or 2 drop off.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I just have a process question really for Aurora and Patsy about what we should do with our interview notes. I mean, I appreciate that these are our notes from a board meeting, but they're also interview notes, and we usually handle those differently. So what's your preference?
I would like to, if you're done with them, I could collect them.
Yes, they should be handled as personnel records.
Thank you.
Okay, sure.
If you can read my handwriting.
All right, that's okay.
So that's some support.
Because I abbreviate a lot.
Trustee Noel, you said you had something.
I just wanted to offer one comment that in
prior years with prior interviews, we've had a fair number of people drop out at the end, very close. And this was one of the early interviews, I think, for Bryce's replacement, when Jack was supervisor. There were people who dropped out.
I don't think we had that many apply,
We had-
though, if
No,
I
we
remember
did.
correctly.
We had like 7 or 9. Remember
We
that
had
big
more
spreadsheet?
apply, but we had narrowed it down.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I mean, I don't like it either, that they have just withdrawn, but it has happened in the past.
Well, if we go through this again, I'd like to see, and this has been a long process. In the brochure it says 16 weeks, and we're, 6 months? And I know that it was announced a while ago, we had 30, and then it just kind of whittled down, and here we are. Kind of similar to the first round, where we end up having 3 interviews and 2 backed out on the same day, we only had 1. But anyway, so we will give you these.
I just want to thank Patsy and Aurora
Yeah,
for their
thank you.
work. I mean, we did just post this, was it the first week of December?
That was the deadline.
Or that was the deadline?
It was September we started.
Yeah, so, I mean,
I'd like to keep,
And just quickly, to what Supervisor said, the last one, it was to completely, the reasons were, what was given today as a reason. So we did have 3 initially, and then 2 of them dropped out the day of the special meeting last year, and one of them the hour before the
Yeah.
special meeting.
Yeah, I think we dodge a bullet with those kind of people, honestly.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I'd like to keep my notes until after the answer, so I can compare.
So you want these back?
Yeah, that's a good
Could you-
idea.
Could you do you want to hold on to them till Thursday and then return them to us at that time, or what would you prefer?
Probably.
I need my notes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah.
Okay.
well, no, we could
As
turn it,
long
we
as
could,
I get 'em
yeah,
Thursday.
I would
if you're not
suggest,
done.
yeah, I would suggest that we, like, I'm going to turn mine into you.
Agreed.
I would suggest others, but whatever you want to do, I think then we'll have them back to deliberate.
Yep.
I'm gonna hold on to mine.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you. Let's move on to public comment. We do not have anybody present. Do we have anyone online, Christy?
Anyone that wants to speak at public comment, please raise your Zoom hand. There are no hands raised.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn
So moved.
Support.
at, what time?
4:40.
4:40. Okay, all in favor? We all said aye.
Aye.
And we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Put them in a pile?
I'm gonna hang on to mine. I would prefer that you just took a copy of this and I keep my own notes.